Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Beyond Crystal Code. We are February 18th, 2026, and I am here with the one and only Carla from the amazing shop Ascension Orgonites. Carla, how are you doing, girlfriend?
Hi, Coco. Hi, everyone. I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing good. We're trying to make this happen. Thank you for watching. If you're live here on YouTube, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel Jean-Claude Beyond Mystic 003. And if you're watching here on Rumble, like, share, and subscribe. Jean-Claude at Beyond Mystic. First of all, Carla, can you please talk about this Violet Flame collection? Por favor.
Yeah, so it was funny because we talked about the colors last week. So it's a collection of pyramids that are all infused or meant to channel the violet flame of protection. And you can use the violet flame for whatever you want. I was listening to Shannon's show yesterday. She was talking about how she uses it for relationships and she'll envelop the relationship in the violet flame. I thought that was like so beautiful because you could use it for anything. Even if you're having a conflict, you can send the person the violet flame or surround yourself with the violet flame. So all the pyramids here have the colors and the crystals that connect to the violet flame of protection. And they also follow the golden ratio like shape that we will talk about a little bit later. So they're pyramids, but they're not going to be like the ones that you're used to seeing from me. They're a little bit different in proportion.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, you guys, don't forget to use the promo code Beyond Mystic to get your 10% off, and everything is in the description box down below. And let's hop right into it. We are going to touch base on the topic of orgonites. So, what is an orgonite? Let's go down to that world of information. And I wanted to start with the question for you, Carla, is when someone asks you what is an orgonite, what do you give as a response to that question?
My response depends on the person asking.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, let's go there.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm gonna explain what it actually is, but if I have to explain it to somebody that has no idea what they are and they're just starting out and they're like, what are you making? Because they'll come to my house and they'll see it, or they see what I post online and they have no idea what it is. They think it's just a decoration. So the way that I explain it is similar to how a salt lamp works, in the way that you place a salt lamp, and when you turn it on, the salt ionizes the environment. So I say, and this is something that most people understand, like a salt lamp has a purpose to it. It's not just decoration. So I'll say an orgonite pyramid is the same, kinda, it's going to clear the space, but it has more components. That's how I explain it to people that have no idea what it is. But what is an orgonite? It's basically, you could think of it as an energy device or an energy tool, and it has to have three components in order to be classified as an orgonite. It has to have metal. It has to have resin. I've seen people make it out of plaster as well. So something to bind it together and to contract it together. And then we also add a crystal or a quartz there for the energy and the intention. So in order also to be able to be a real orgonite, it has to have a ratio of metal. So it needs to be at least 50% to 75%. Yes, that's right. They have to have a certain amount of metals, not crystal. The crystal, you could even have one crystal in there and it's going to work. But it has to have at least 50 to 75 of the the orgonite in metal, so that it functions as an organ generator. And the most common shape that you guys will see is obviously pyramids. Most people do make pyramid orgonites, but it could be any shape. I've done towers, I've done charging plates, like basically trays all full of metal and crystals. So the shape doesn't really matter. The reason why we use pyramids is because pyramids are known to also amplify the energies. So when you have a pyramid shape, much like the pyramids in Giza in Egypt and the pyramids that we see all over the world, they create what I call a toroidal field. So it's basically energy moving from the top to the bottom. So if you like think of like energy moving from the top to the bottom and circulates back to the top and the bottom, and it's creating this movement of energy that we're going to explain what it does. I see what kind of metals. So yeah, so any metal could work. The metal that most people use is copper, but you could use any type of metal as long as the ratio is correct. So you could use aluminum, you could use steel, you can use. I've seen people use iron, brass, copper, any type of metal that you want, as long as it follows that ratio of 50 to 75% of the total weight, then it's, it would act as an argon, an orgon accumulator, they will call it, or an orgonite. Have you ever well, not before you met me, but like, have you used them before? Did you know anything about them?
No.
No.
I would see them like in esoteric stores, but I would never take the time to get to know what it is until I met you. That's when I discovered the whole ordeal about Orgonites.
I learned about them like I want to say like in 2018 or so. Okay. And I remember listening to people talk about, I think back then it was like, back then it was 4G, 3G, then we went to 5G, now we're going to 6G. But I remember the whole craze about like those towers that they were building, especially in 2020. And I learned about the Orgonites because people were making them and they were digging them up around the towers where they were like near their houses. Because they are known, because of what happens when you have these components together, they are known to kind of balance out the EMF radiation. So they were like, I actually found this couple that I cannot remember their name anymore because I saw them a couple of times and then they kind of got lost in like the feed. But they would make these tower, these orgonite shapes, like these like big cylinders of plaster. And they were going all around their city, digging them up and putting them around on the ground where the towers were. So I thought that was so cool. It's such a cool thing that they were doing.
Yeah. Wow. What's the origins of all of this?
Yeah, of course. So the first time that it became a concept was in the 1930s. Okay. And it was Wilhelm, I hope I say the name right. It's Wilhelm Reich. And he was a psychoanalyst, and he started to study the idea of organ energy. So he believed that the energy of organ was basically similar to the concept of chi or prana, which is life force, basically. And he believed that this energy was everywhere, and all living things have it, and all organic materials have it. And he wanted to find a way to harness that energy in order to heal people and to study it, basically. So he ended up inventing this thing that he called the organ accumulator, which was basically just a box. And what he did with the box is he layered wood and metal on top of each other and created a box. And then he would place a person inside and see if he noticed any change. And he would say, for example, that the person started to feel a little bit better, or their feelings were a little bit more stable. So he came from the idea that when you don't move energy around, it kind of becomes stagnant, and it could create almost like, I would think of it like a stagnant water where there's no flow and everything sort of dies in the water if there's no flow, or it just kind of becomes unstable. So he believed that by creating these organ accumulators, and he was attracting the organ energy, creating positive organ energy, and he was cleaning up the space around, or the person inside that was, inside the box. He also discovered the idea that there was bad organ energy and good organ energy. So, and this is something that later on was also studied. So what happened with Wilhelm Reich is that in the 1950s, he was arrested. He got into a bunch of trouble, God knows. And unfortunately, he passed away in prison before he even finished his research. So it kind of like stayed that way. And it was funny because I was trying to look into more information about because I know a lot of organoids because I use them, but I was trying to like research it more to tell you guys more information. And it was crazy that the first thing that will show up everywhere is like, there's no scientific evidence. There's no scientific evidence. And I was like, I know there's no scientific evidence. I know. Because obviously it hasn't been studied, right? So how can there be scientific evidence if nobody has experimented with it or actually tested it to see if it works or not? But what happened then after Wilhelm Reich is in the 1990s, this guy called Carl Wells, he grabbed the idea that Reich had and he modified it. So instead of adding the wood, he replaced it with the resin, and then he added crystals. Started adding crystals in there. So he was the first person that started adding crystals to the Orgonites. And the idea behind that was that when we know that crystals, first of all, store information and also have like electricity. They can also conduct electricity. They use quartz in our electronics all the time. So the idea was that when the crystal will go inside this resin, the resin will cure around it, create pressure, and it would amplify whatever the crystal was doing. And together with the metal, it became sort of like this, I think of it like a filter. It's almost like the metal is attracting the energy, then the crystal is kind of cleansing it, and then because of the shape, it comes back out. So it's a pretty cool concept, and it's also like we use it to, because of the crystal, it's going to transmute the energy. So transmuting means from low to high frequency, or from bad energy to good energy. And I remember also, I was trying to look this up because I remember reading about one study, or I think something that Carl Wells was doing, where the reason why he started adding crystals, and I may be wrong with this, guys, so don't quote me, but I remember this when I started researching them years ago. And I could not find the reference, so I can't like cite it with a reference, but I remember that when they were doing the organ accumulator like Reich was doing it, which was just the wood and the metal, they started to see that it would affect the mood and the feelings of the people around the room. And so that's when they started to notice, well, it also, yes, it's an organ accumulator and it can harness that energy, but it could also create negative energy. So adding the crystal there was also the idea of, when he added the crystal there, he started to notice that people started feeling better, and the negative feelings went away, and it was actually making people more calm and more happy. And I wish I could find that article that I read, and I will. And if I do, I'll give it to you. I'll put a link, or I'll put it on the website or something, because that was such an interesting story of them making these like tests of adding the crystal and then taking them off, and actually noticing people's mood changing and feelings changing.
So I have a question here talking about mood changing and what this orgonite could protect you as well. I have this from Tracy 8445. Are these good for sitting on your Wi-Fi? So
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So think of it as I had actually a question the other day, an email, and the lady asked me, what is the difference between a shungite and an orgonite? Why can't I just have an orgonite everywhere? And I said, well, think of like shungite. We know shungite counteracts the effect of EMF when you're wearing it against your skin. Orgonite is going to do that for your space. So it's almost like shungite is like a portable one that you could take with you everywhere. And an orgonite is something that you place there because you're not going to carry this around with you, even though I've seen people make pocket orgonites, and they put them in their purse, or they'll I'll see it on orgonite pendants too. But the thing about the orgonite pendant is you have to be careful that the right ratio of the metal is there, because such a tiny little thing it's hard to put the correct amount of metal, but it can be done. So I have seen it done. So yes, and so an orgonite, it will be amazing to place next to the Wi-Fi router, because it's not going to disconnect your Wi-Fi. Like, you're not going to really feel anything, but on its own, it's going to work there, and it's going to kind of like two Shanghai, John, the two Shanghai pyramids. Yeah, you could do the Shanghai pyramids too. An orgonite does the same. The difference between the Shanghai and the orgonite as well is the orgonite is going to have other crystals. So if you want to use it for other intentions and other energies, then that's what they're there for. But yeah, it's like, I always get this question of where's the evidence? And I'm saying there's no evidence. There's no studies. There's no experiments done. Just like Shanghai, all the stuff that I know from Shanghai, I know from Cliff High, because Cliff High has been studying Shanghai for years. And every time he finds something or he experiments with it, he lets us know. And that's how I learned the power of all these things, because of people like him. But if you go to mainstream media or like mainstream science and stuff like that, you're not going to find them at all.
You need to share that clip that you had. Well, now we're not, it's not, or it was not about the orgonite, but it was about Shanghai. I think you posted on your Instagram, and you had that machine that calculates.
It's on the website, the EMF meter. Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
that, like, it blew my mind. So,
Yeah,
like,
and actually,
orgonite.
I did that out of, like, I actually went out of my way and I purchased two types of meters. So I purchased the cheapest one that you could find on Amazon, and then a higher end one that is like higher end. And I tried it with both, and it was really cool to see. So, but Orgonites will do the same. So if you place like if you place the MEF meter around the Wi-Fi router and you place the Orgonite next to it, you're going to see the number go down on the meter, just because it's going to absorb that radiation for you. So I was looking into also this concept of using metal, and I went into like how people use copper to ground. I also saw people that use copper to put in their garden. I've seen people that grab like a copper stick and put it in the ground, and the area. I don't know if you've seen those videos. There's like a garden, and then they divide it in two. In one section of the garden, there's a stick of like made of copper dug into the ground, and then the other one is normal. And then the plants on this side look perfect, beautiful, big with flowers, and then the other ones look like they're there, but they're not like healthy and stuff like that. Yeah. So we know that metal is attracting this energy, and it's doing something. And also the concept of I find it so interesting, the concept of this. I was reading something Cliff High sent us like a couple years ago about the pyramid, and how people were building these pyramids and just sitting, they were sitting, inside it, and they were building it out of copper or building it out of metal, kind of like I don't know, think of it like a Faraday cage. But a Faraday cage, I think, has to be closed in some way for it to work. But it was basically like a copper pyramid, and people were just sitting down and they were noticing a difference. So yeah, we don't have experiments and we don't have specific studies that we can cite or we can say, but we have tons of testimony.
Well, just right now we have here Lakeside Laura says, yes, copper rods in garden. I saw my sweet potatoes double.
Right. Yeah.
And Joe says it's electroculture. So I Googled it while we're chit-chatting right now. And yeah, so that's what you were mentioning, Carla, about the rod beside plants.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah. Because it's so cool that you can, like, we know it, but we don't get confirmation from, official sources.
Yeah.
Right. But we know that it works. So I think it would be so cool if somebody that knew how to like formulate these scientific things would actually study them and learn more about them, because I feel like there's so much potential for us to pinpoint more benefits and things that they do. We just go with the basic of what we know, of what we see, of what we, the history that we have. But I feel like there's so much more that they do that we don't really understand, I also had like, I remember back in the day when I started making them, I had a reading. Well, this was actually something Janine told me, that when I was making them, I was channeling something. And then after that, I got the confirmation of saying, somebody telling me that the pyramid was like, every time I would make it together, like put the metal with the crystal, the resin in there, it was creating its own consciousness somehow. And I've always wanted to kind of go more and explore that with somebody, because she was saying that even when the person was going to buy it, it was like it was consciousness was calling that pyramid to them, and then when they received it, it was giving them something that they specifically needed at that moment, or those crystals, or that combination of things. So I mean, I wish we had more like I don't know how to say this, like more concrete information to give. But if we go just by the testimonies, I've received hundreds of emails of people that even by just opening up the box, they already feel the difference in the energy. Or it was so funny. One of the first emails that I received, it was a beautiful lady. She purchased, it was an organite made of clear quartz, and she put it next to her bed in her nightstand. And she emailed me the other day, and she said, I cannot sleep. I can't sleep. I had a terrible night. I couldn't sleep the whole night. And I was like, I am so sorry. But I told her, I said, maybe the energy is too high. And maybe you need to just move it. And she moved it somewhere else. And then she went back to sleep the next day. And so then I remember telling her, like, if you want to actually rest, like, don't, I wouldn't put like, it's a crystal. Crystal has energy. So if you put something like a carnelian next to you in the bed, that's too bold, too high energy. You need something soothing, like an amethyst or a shungite. Like, it's gonna keep you protected, but it's not a bold energy.
Yeah, it's not
So I have
coffee.
Right. I have hundreds and hundreds of emails of people telling me also that they have gifted it to people, and they have made a difference in the way people feel, or comments of, they have a few organites in their house, and as soon as somebody walks in, they say, oh my God, it feels light in here and it feels amazing in here, type of thing. So at least we have that validation, especially from our community, that are very intuitive people, very aligned people, that when they receive it, they do feel a difference, and they know that it's working in their own way. And so we don't need science.
Side note here from one of our viewers, Gemma, that came back from Australia, and she says, side note, Carla looks great in red. Okay.
Thank you. I was trying to channel the fire horse energy.
Oh my gosh, you're right.
Yeah, yesterday started. It was the first day.
Why didn't you text me to tell me to wear red for today?
Oh, I didn't think of it. Next time we'll coordinate, Coco.
Yeah. Jeez, Carla.
But you're doing yellow, so yellow, red is like.
Yeah, it's like, okay, it's in the same sphere. Okay, I get it. Damn, word red. Jeez Louise, not catch up. Next question that I have is, when you design your pyramids, what do you consider first? The crystal frequency or the color? Because we're talking about color.
So it depends. I think I don't have like a process, because I just get an image in my head about what it has to look like, and it's usually the color. Now that you mentioned that,
Yeah,
I'll see a color in my head. I'll see like orange or blue or green or purple, and I say, okay. So I start working, and I'm working through the layers. I'm saying, okay, now add this crystal or add that crystal, and I start doing that. And a lot of the times, actually most of the time, when I take it out, it's something that I have no idea. Like, it's not something that I draw beforehand or anything like that. Like I usually surprise myself when I take it out, because I don't know what it's going to look like when I make it. And also when you see the mold is pretty opaque, so you can't really see in there. I wish I could, so that I could peek and see if it's good, but I don't. So it's always like a surprise when I take them out, and it's pretty cool. So that's why maybe it's the whole channeling thing, that I'm just channeling something specific, a specific frequency, a specific combination of crystals. And then I usually hear after I take it out of the mold and I look at it and I spend a couple of days with it, I'll get a name in my head. And every time I go and I look at the beginning or the meaning, it always coincides with what I'm trying to do. So if I wanted to create, yeah, it's crazy. Like off the top of my head, I have a pyramid that I wanted to do a pyramid that was like very soft. And I had this like pink and gold, and I wanted it to be made of like friendship and more heart. And as soon as I took it out, I was like, oh, this pyramid is called Wendy. And then when I looked up the meaning of Wendy, it literally is friendship, but I didn't know that. So those things that happen are pretty cool when you realize those synchronicities. Oh no,
And
I
what do
think
you
Coco's
suggest
frozen.
to everybody? Oh, do you still see
Oh,
me?
no, I see you now. Yeah.
Okay, my internet is just jumping around. What would you suggest to people that are shopping for their Orgonites, how to choose one?
I get that question all the time, and my answer is always the same. I say, just look and see what calls out to you.
Mhm.
Because if you're scrolling and there's, oh my God, by now I must have like 100 designs. I mean, I lost count already. But if you're like scrolling and you see something that calls out to you because it's a certain color or because it's a certain name, or maybe it's your astrology sign, or maybe it's because you saw the intention that says, the smaller ones that say sleep or abundance, I say go for that first, because that's really what you need at that moment. That's what's calling out to you. Yeah.
Connect with you.
And if you're trying to pick it for someone else, then that's what I would do too. Like if you're scrolling through there and you see something that reminds you of the person, then that's the one that they need. And that's the one so I always say, use your intuition. I mean, you could also like search up, like if you're looking for a certain intention, if you're looking for a certain energy that you want to call in, you can search that up, and like if you're looking for abundance or good luck or love or things like that, it'll show up. So that's another way, like if you want to be more specific, see, so for example, you typed in love and you're going to get all the ones that have love, and just pick the one you like more, the one that calls out to you.
The Google of Ascension Orgonites.
Exactly.
She is the Google. She is the Grok of Orgonites. Okay.
Exactly. So we can talk a little bit more about what they do. So we already said they transmute energy. So they transmute stagnant negative energy, and they're going to transform it into positive energy. They're also visually it's like grounding visual art. So when you look at it and you have it near your house, it's going to promote a feeling of you. Usually it's the feeling that the pyramid has. So maybe more like grounding or emotional balance. Obviously, we talked about the EMF, and this is because of the metals that are in there. And the metal is going to, just think of it like it's like a mini filter. It's a mini filter. So you don't see it working, but it is working energetically. It is creating a field that is cleaning out the space around it. You could use it also in like your energy work. So where we're saying, if you want to call in an intention and you want to use it to meditate or to manifest something, these are meant to focus and to direct the energy and then the intention that you want, because they are energetic objects and they do hold the energy that you want at that moment. So it doesn't matter where you place it. You could place it anywhere, because I also get that question a lot, like, where do I put it? What do I do after I receive it? Like, or do I need to have one per home, per room, or how many do I get? And I always say, like, there's no rule. Like, obviously the more the better, obviously, but if you want to have just one and put it in like the higher traffic area of your house, or even just place it next to the Wi-Fi router, or where you have most of your electronics, that's enough. Like you don't need to have 50,000 pyramids. Or it's like you wear your shanga, you wear one and it's already doing its thing. Even if it's a tiny little piece like this, it always helps. It's, yeah, I mean, I guess you could say the bigger the pyramid there is, the bigger the effect, especially the EMF. I would say yes, because you have more metals in there and more crystals in there. But even the tiny little ones help. The tiny little ones, they're like good for also for kids, because they're not like bold. So you could give it to them and they'll start learning what it is. So also one thing that I wanted to like clarify, because I've gotten that question before, from the outside, they may not look like they have enough metal. So you might look at this and see, oh, it's only this tiny little line and this tiny little line of the brass and the copper. But that's not all you see. Inside the pyramid, there's more. There inside here where you won't see it, there's more metal in there to make sure that the ratio is correct. So even though aesthetically from the outside, you're going to see a little tiny line, especially with like the ones that have aluminum, because aluminum is very light. So if I had to follow the correct ratio, I would have to fill the entire thing with aluminum. So what I do is I just do it more aesthetically pleasing. And then inside, all of them have copper, all of them. Because we know copper is the most conductive of all of the metals. So all the pyramids all the Orgonites that you see, all of them have metal, even have copper, I'm sorry. Even if it doesn't say it, because that's just the standard practice that I use to make sure that I get the ratio right.
I have this question, does she always use the golden ratio?
No, I started using the golden ratio this year. So we started using the pyramids of the golden ratio this year. And I am actually also looking, because I was reading at the information that Cliff High sent us, and he also sent me another ratio that would be great to have with pyramids. And it's a little bit different. It's a little bit more of an elongated one. So I'm going to look into that as well. But think of it as, so this is the difference. So the pyramids that I was using, the you'll see are usually like this. So the same height the same measurement that you have here at the base is usually the same measurement that you have here on the sides, if not a little longer. The golden ratio, you see how it looks more like the Pyramid of Giza?
Yeah.
So yeah.
So true.
It's a little bit flatter, but what it is it's a proportion. So we measure the bottom here with the slant measurement here, and the way it works is when you measure that out and you do the formula, you get the pi number. I forget the pi number. It's like 3 point something or 1 point. So we noticed that the pyramids in Giza and a lot of pyramids around the world on sacred sites follow this ratio, and it's believed that
isn't it like 3.14 something?
Right.
Oh, there Tracy just wrote it here.
3.14. Or like also that divided by 2, so it's 1 point something. It's also like the same. So it's a combination of that proportion. I'm sorry, you guys, I'm not like a math expert.
No, thank you. No, thank you. We don't want to talk about math here. Thank you.
But the important thing to know is that they do follow that ratio, but it's believed that the energy flows easier when it's in that ratio. Just like the thank you, Laura. We love you too.
Thank you, Laura.
So yeah, what was I saying? I lost my train of thought with the love. It's just an added layer. So it's more sacred geometry. So the Orgonite is going to work no matter what shape it has. But because it has this ratio, it adds another layer of like the flow of energy and the proportion that we know exists in almost everything in nature also. So I think, I mean, that's why I started making them, because I thought like to add something else to the energy and to make it more effective. And like I said, I'm looking into getting another and also another ratio, and then once they're ready, I'll explain more, because Cliff was like sent us a ton of information about what pyramids do and the shapes and all of that. What else did I wanted to say? Oh, I also I
No, you
sorry.
go. After I'll ask. You go.
I actually had this, I think I sent them to you, these pictures
Oh,
that
yes.
this client sent them to me early on when I started working. And I thought that was so cool. And I'm looking into having a picture, those photographs taken of my pyramids. This is called Curlian photography. And what they do is they place a metal plate on the bottom. And
Okay.
then with a special camera, they take a picture of the object. And he had the picture taking of these organs that he had around the house, or this pyramid that he had, and it captures the electricity moving and the
No
electricity of the
way.
object. So you can see that the ones he had, they were emanating energy, and you could actually physically see it in the picture. So I thought that was so cool
That
that he
is
sent them to me.
amazing.
That is so cool. I would love to have like this type of photography taken for the pyramids, and I looked into them, but it's such a like a specific camera that they need to use, and a specific thing that you need to find somebody that really knows.
Specialty, yeah.
Yeah, and I, at least in my area, I have not found anybody like that. I mean, if you guys know anybody, send me recommendations, because that was so cool.
What is your 2 cents on cleansing and charging your Orgonites?
Yeah, that's another question that I always get. It's like, how do I charge them? How do I cleanse them? What do I do with them? So my answer is always, you don't really have to do anything. There's no rule, but just like you would any crystal, because they have crystals there. Crystals store energy, and we know that after a while, especially if you have crystals that are absorbing negative energy for you and cleansing the space for you, after a while they're going to become charged, and you need to clear that out. So the pyramid is the same, an orgonite is the same. So I would place it in the sunlight for a couple hours, or you can smudge them with sage or palo santo.
Oh, yeah.
Use the full moon energy. So place it on the window with the full moon energy. Even the moonlight is going to help clear them. So anything that you do with your crystals is the same thing that you would do with these. There's really no difference.
Orgonite like the whole day in the front of the window, ray sunshine directly on it.
No, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, okay.
The only reason why is because it is made out of resin, and resin is a material that is it's going to fade in the sunlight. So if you leave it on in the sun for days and days and days, it's just gonna, I mean, I haven't really tested it out because I don't want to mess up the pyramids, but I know that yeah, you don't want the color to turn some resin can turn yellow, even though the resin that I use doesn't really turn yellow. It shouldn't, but it could. So you don't want to leave it in the sun for it to turn yellow, and
and how about running it through water? Everybody's writing suggestions. Run
that's
water,
a great idea.
salt
That's a great idea. Salt bath. Oh my God! Give a salt bath to the pyramid, or put the pyramid in your bath where you're taking a salt bath.
Girl, listen, we are tuning into our divine feminine, honey. What are you talking about? This in your bath with your Orgonites, darling. I love that idea.
It's not that crazy. I heard Shannon say, bring the crystals into your bath and put the water safe crystals. Put them in the bath with you, and
I totally agree.
And that's gonna help your healing. And actually, I was thinking about when she was saying that, because there are crystals that if you place them in water, they dissolve. But if they're in orgonite form, they won't, because the resin is protecting them. So you could just place it in the water with you, use it to meditate in that moment. Or
I love it. And talking about Shannon, before we continue into our topic, she has now her Waking Up with Shannon membership. You guys hop into it at Beyond Mystic Academy. It's a monthly membership of $44 per month. And she is there from Monday to Thursday in the morning, and you could tune in with her live or have it on replay and just go into listen, work onto your consciousness with her. And she is just simply divine. We adore her work. So tune in with her. It started just now. So her first live will be on Monday coming up next week for $44 per month. What else did you want to add? I had another question for you. What was it?
I just saw Claudio said, just don't sit on it yet. Don't sit on the pyramid.
Oh my gosh. Claudia, why would, thank you for the safety hazard tip that I have this question here. How I charge my salt bath. You know what? Do the same concept as Shannon putting into attention. Remember when she gave that concept with the 2 glasses of water? Well,
Oh
when
my
you
God,
have
yes.
the
Yes.
bag of your bath salt bath, whatever you want to call it, put your attention before putting it into your bathtub. Give it your attention, your gratitude, and then you pour it in your lovely, fabulous bathtub. And then you put your crystals with your Orgonites, and you just don't sit on your Orgonite pyramid.
Exactly.
Okay? You come out of that bathtub ready for the fire horse, darling.
Oh my God, yes, absolutely. You reminded me of something. Because I always I have this conversation with some, I get a lot of emails and I have this conversation and I always say, just remember as a baseline, and this also ties back to what Shannon always says, is these are tools. You are the one that powers them. You are the one that makes them work. If you don't believe that they work, they might do it in the background, but you're the one that is giving your intention and your energy to these things. So it does. I would say don't get hung up on if it's this shape, if that shape, if it has this symbol, if it doesn't have that symbol. If I heard this somewhere and I heard that somewhere. I heard the other day I saw this that's evil, and I heard the other day that that's good. It's don't get caught up in all of that stuff. If it's good, if it's bad.
Do you?
It's your intuition, it's your energy that powers it. If you have good intention and good energy, it's going to give that back to you. And that I believe, and we know consciousness is so powerful. If you could do something as powerful as healing your own body physically from ailments, just like Shannon teaches us and is teaching us now, imagine the stuff that we can do. So that's really the last thing that I wanted to mention is these are just tools. They're meant to help, but they're not meant to do the work. You're the one powering them, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I have this question from Renee Bradley. Carla, I feel drawn to the sunshine yellow pyramid. Can't remember the name. Does that mean I am needing something, darling?
Could be. If it's the small one from the beginner series, that's joy, and that's a burst of
joy,
happiness. Or I'm thinking of maybe anything that is yellow. Anything that is yellow is going to call back to your solar plexus and to needing a bit of creativity, a burst of joy, happiness. So yeah, if you're feeling called to that one, then that's what it means. Maybe connect to your inner child, to something that makes you happier. Go back to that feeling of when you were a little kid, things that make you excited. That's what I would say. That's what it means.
That's a beautiful one. See? Also, I didn't wear my yellow for nothing.
There you go.
Renee. Thank you so much, Renee. So happy. Thank you. Phew. I felt like I was out of the gang. And on that. Wait, we have Karen Clark here on X. We are the greatest power tools. Okay, Karen. Yes, girl.
Yeah.
Yes, girl. Do we have anything else here? Tracy, I never do spiritual work by the book. You should see me smudge my house. Get the out of my space negative. Okay, girl. See, that's what I say. Everybody's like, oh yes, us, the woo. I call them the woo gang. You guys are woo gang. So get not today, Satan. Get the hell out of my house. That's what she does. I know Tracy, I see you. I
But
see.
it works just the same as if you want to do it like, like it
Totally.
works.
Totally. I totally agree. If you are all delicate and super in tune with your divine feminine, all good. If you're a gang like me, then you do your gang gangster stuff. Do it.
Right.
It's all good. Nothing else
Exactly.
wrong with that. No. There you go. See, everybody's. And for the record, if you are wondering why we're not on Rumble right now, because we were trying to connect and there was a glitch with Rumble, it didn't want to connect. So don't worry, Rumble watchers. I will upload this on Rumble right after our live. We are very sorry for this glitch. And
Yeah.
well, like before we started, that's why we started like a couple minutes late because I was trying to connect everything. And then Carla was like, "Is it the retrograde already?" I'm like, "Oh my gosh,
Oh,
not a,
no.
please! I just can't."
Well, actually, now that you say that, we may be in the shadow period. I mean, I think I heard Astrid say that the shadow period is like 2 weeks before. So
Well, there
maybe.
we see. Well, that's where we are. Do you have
Yeah.
anything else that you wanted to add, Carla?
No, I think that's the whole, like, the most important thing to remember is these, your energy. Your energy is what powers them, and that's it. If you are using them for good energy and good intention, that's exactly what you're gonna get back.
Got it. Thank you. Okay. Guinness Girl confirmed. Pre-shadow.
Yeah.
Oh, I just can't. Please, no. Oh, okay. Thank you, Renee. So apparently YouTube had issues yesterday. So now it's Rumble. So, okay. I was like freaking out in the back, you guys. I didn't want it to disappoint nobody, but we're here on YouTube and on X, and I
Right.
will upload everything right after the show. So, everybody, if you want to find the amazing work of our dear friend Carla from Ascension Orgonite, she has the Violet Flame collection that is up and running just now. Don't forget your promo code Beyond Mystic to get your 10% off. And of course, don't forget to follow us. If you're watching this on the replay and you're not subscribed, why not? Sharing is caring, y'all. So subscribe and share and like. Jean Claude Beyond Mystic 003. It is our YouTube channel and Rumble. Of course, Jean Claude at Beyond Mystic. We have our live shows every single day for all of y'all. And thank you once again for tuning in. It is always a pleasure to chit chat with everybody here in the chat section. You guys are the best. Thank you so much, Carla, for your time. And we will see you all next week. Bisous, bisous.
Bye.
Bye.